Thank you. Welcome to our very first Heroes Table Talk. And today I'm joined by individuals that are experts in their own field, heavyweights. Please introduce yourselves from my left to the right.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. My name is Tsietsi Mtlaping. I'm a director of a company called Bahumi HR Consulting, and I'm also a board member of a non-government organization called Pewentle, based in Soweto, Netherlands.
Wow, heavyweight. Thank you. Thank you, Tsietsi Mtlaping. And to the next.
Okay, my name is Busisiwe Muchudi. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
I am a director of a production company, an all-female black production company called Anavo Arts. And I recently have a company with my husband called Taho. It's a deep cleaning company. We offer cleaning services for corporates.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
Heavyweight, to the right.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Disema Matsietsi is my name. I am a managing director for an organization called Being an Analyst. I wear different hats. I also sit on certain boards, especially the ones that I love is the community trust, where we give back to the community. I also head up an NPC that looks at chartering people in finance, specifically international finance. So I wear various hats and I do a lot of juggling of my time in one day. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm really honored to be sitting with you today. You all heavyweights. We're having a discussion on, previously it used to be called recruitment, but we're saying we're looking at it differently now. We're looking at it in a form of a talent. Yeah, to say what differentiates you from the next person looking for an opportunity. So I think I want us to delve a bit more into what corporates are looking for in terms of the skills that are needed. So we can either go either way. We don't have to go in a secular format. So what has been your experience lately, Disema, as a hiring manager, as a director of being an analyst? What has been your experience in terms of the corporates lately and this century? What are they looking for?
That's a good question, because there are two layers to that. As you start an organization, there's a certain way that you are looking to hire people.
Yes.
And when I started working on projects, you realize that there's a certain way that organizations that you work on are hiring people.
Yes.
So it's a two-layered approach. On our side, because of the blessing of COVID, and I know I'm going to say the blessing because it had already opened up certain things on doing business compared to when I started my coffee shop in 2012, where you had to have real people working in the coffee shop all the time. Right now, what we have done, especially in the specialist fields, you are able to get I think you call them non-FTEs, non-full-time employees,
Yes.
but they are working for you, with you, on a project-by-project basis. That allows us to be able to have a pool of people that you can rely on depending on the consulting work that's needed.
Yes.
So I think that has really opened up a lot of things for us as you are starting out as an organization.
Yes.
But as a large organization, you are still looking for talent that's going to do the work at the shortest amount of time available.
Yes.
And I'm saying this because some of the projects that I'm working on, where we're trying to place IT digitally skilled people into opportunities, you see that that 6 months or 90 days that used to take, where you are not so productive, you're still landing on your feet, is getting reduced. So that puts pressure on the preparedness, or something that we call work ready, to say, what does the work ready program look like? But work ready now becomes specific per organization.
Yes.
The organizations that I get exposed to, we would have a different scorecard of what work ready looks like
Yes.
to some other organization in another field. So I think the playing field has changed with the blessings of COVID. It's becoming lighter on organizations, but it's becoming more demanding on the talent itself, because you need to do a lot of skilling
Yes.
and a lot of extracurricular before you start,
Before you
unfortunately.
Wow. So it's very important in order for you to be what we call work ready, to get into the work readiness programs and make sure that you've got the skills that are needed for you to be successful in whatever the position that you're looking for.
I'm compelled to say yes, but I would say get into the work readiness program that is aligned with where you want to go, because the work readiness programs are not the same.
I hear you.
So the
If I want to be an analyst, then I must get into a work readiness program
for
for
analysts,
analysts.
that is correct.
I
The
get it.
honors is you before you even start studying,
Yes,
know what is the pipeline look like. So look at the whole career pathway.
yes.
Because just starting and say, oh, I'm just gonna go into retail, kita ba a waiter for now,
Yes.
it's gonna work against you, because at that same time somebody else is already taking small projects
Yes.
somewhere online.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to quickly finalize on that, because I know you've got extensive experience in the banking sector. So in a banking sector, normally when they get, they call them the interns, people through the internship, you become a general. You get to be exposed to all the departments, all the sectors. So are you saying people should not consider that because it's generalist, it's not directed to the direction that they want to take?
That is a good one. So what happened, especially in 2019 when YES program was introduced, they went the generalist route. But what you've seen in later on, before I left banking, we were actually going into the specialist route, because even the quantitative analysts had their own quantitative internship program. The ones that are going into private banking had their own program itself for private bankers that are going to go into there. So already that had started a long time ago. But one thing that we had picked up, and I hope to be discreet as possible, there's also a pipeline being created to say, because you've studied in this organization, and this organization has got a relationship with this university, because you studied in this university and it's got a relationship with this organization, you are able to go through easy into the internship program.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. So it just doesn't start with your metric. It starts with, what is the metric results that's required for me to get into this university,
Yes.
so that I can be able to work for this organization.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the burden is bigger than when I started.
Okay.
Or maybe it was already there, I was just oblivious to it. Now I'm exposed to it.
Interesting one. So what happens when I come all the way from Limpopo and my university is not aligned to that corporate sector? Having said that, Mabusi, coming to you in creative industry, what would you say corporate South Africa in terms of skills in the creative environment? What would you say the most demanding? What are the most demanding skills that people can, acquire while they're preparing themselves for whatever the role that they want to be in creative space?
The most demanding skills
Yes.
in South Africa.
Yeah. Or the ones that you could recommend
That I could
because
recommend.
they could convert into money quickly.
Into lucrative.
Yes.
Yeah. To be honest, I think right now there's a rise of social media,
Yes.
social media marketing, social media communication in general. Corporates are really taking it serious. As you can see, there's a rise of influencers that
Yes.
are becoming literally the communication channel into drawing clients, right, for big companies. And it's actually very interesting because it's quite a shift. I've come from, just to give a bit of reference, I'm actually an actress.
Yes.
So I've come from a line of going to auditions to advertise a product. That has literally lessened to such a degree that some of my friends who are in the influential spaces are doing stuff I used to do. I used to sit in a line. It used to be a formal thing. But now, because they have curated a voice, right, to be able to draw clients because they are a trusted voice, that they are now the means of marketing. And so even within that space now, when it comes to media, social media pages are becoming really important. Branding is becoming really important. And so I'd really say in the media space, one thing that is absolutely lucrative right now is branding and social media managing and marketing. And so I've seen that there are short courses that you can do. And I know quite a lot of people, which goes back to our conversation we're having offline here, who are not even qualified and are making a killing from managing pages, right? Big corporate pages, and ensuring that branding is aligned and actually having the ability to connect the brand to an influencer who can speak into whatever they're trying to give audiences, and then making it possible for their whatever product or service they're trying to give to be accessible through an influencer. So social media marketing is a big thing right now. Yeah, within the media space,
Yeah, you are spot on. When you talk about marketing, communications, and personal branding, it's a big one. And I think every person who's in corporate or in business that wants to achieve or get anywhere in life, you need to have a digital presence.
Absolutely.
So us back in the days, we still like, oh, this is not for us, but the reality of where the direction that the world is taking, you need to have a digital presence, and to spot on. Thank you for that. So, Mr. Motlaping, you get to be briefed by corporates. There's from working for a recruitment consulting business, you get to be briefed by corporates to say, these are the skills that we need. Can you help us source these skills? What do they say they require from you?
Okay. Just before I answer that question, just to allude to my brother's reality, painful reality that's happening within corporates in terms of you're given an example in terms of the varsities that you're coming from.
Yes.
I'll do a recruitment for an internship. You'll get somebody from a certain university.
Yes.
I don't know whether I mention universities.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Let's be discreet.
Because it's an accounting internship, then you've got a candidate, a graduate from University of Limpopo, you've got a candidate from University of Pretoria, and from UCT. So irrespective of the candidate from University of Limpopo has distinction.
That's crazy.
Irrespective of this one from University of Wits, University of Pretoria, they've got supplementary. They'll always, the one from, so to say, elite universities will always be given priority. No matter how hard the black child from University of Limpopo has worked from year 1, year 2, year 3 with distinction. But the perception is that because he's from University of Limpopo, they don't have the capability, they don't have the ability, they don't have the right skill to become or to excel in the graduate program. So I was just alluding to what my brother was saying on that side. So in terms of going back to your question, in terms of we do get on a daily basis briefing from clients in terms of they might be looking, for example, for a financial manager.
Yes.
Then a financial manager need to come up with certain skills and experience and qualification. You're looking for a financial manager with a CA qualification, post-article experience, and then 5 to 10 years experience. So we'll get that kind of brief, and then the client will say, I'm from a private sector, I don't want people from a public sector. Rightfully so, as per their business. But that's reality that's happening. I prefer candidates from the private sector. I prefer a candidate from a particular company, because I've realized that candidates from a particular company, in terms of our culture, they fit in well. In terms of progressing, in terms of results, they do deliver. And sometimes, a job description it's not a true reflection of what the client is looking for.
Yes, yes.
You know,
what are those messages that they don't put on the job descriptions, but they tell you to say this is the kind of candidate we're looking for?
Yes, so it's just a brief to help you.
Yes.
So it's not a true reflection. So we just have to be proactive. You need to understand your client. So that you can be able to match the right candidate.
Yes.
Because whatever the client's culture is, it's not written on the job profile. It's not written on the job spec.
Yes.
So you need to have that expertise to be able to match, so that you don't, because we are responsible about people's careers.
Yes.
So that we don't mismatch and frustrate the employer and frustrate the candidate. Yeah. So
what you're saying is very powerful, very, very powerful. So are you saying, and this is the question I'm putting to the floor, are you saying there's a relationship between the organizational culture and the potential employee? Is it important?
Yes.
Should there be a relationship, and is it important?
That is true.
We talk about culture, please.
that is true, and unfortunately, it's the reality.
Yes.
And you have said it. I like when you're using university, because let us realize when we say university, we're already excluding so many people.
Yes.
And let's name it as it is. It's a culture of exclusivity. Exclusivity. Double clicking on my career, I wanted to work for private banks. Yes. I registered for investment management. I wanted, those, and evening news, they talk about the dollar and the Dow Jones. I wanted that. But unfortunately, the harsh reality when I got to university is, we were at the point, I went to a university that was transitioning from Afrikaans university to an English university.
Yes.
I got a high mark in Afrikaans. They said to me, two universities that accepted me, the rest didn't want to take me, because I'm from the Free State, and my Afrikaans was a C+, my English was a D-.
Oh, no.
They said, do your stuff in Afrikaans, you are in. I'm sitting in a board, one of my chairperson in that board, she went to a university that does, and she did her one in Afrikaans. She said it opened up doors, because she went to one of the private companies with a zebra. I couldn't go in. Unfortunately, I'm gonna, as an analyst, I've tried to analyze this thing. There's two ways. There's a underdog, rooting for the underdog.
Yes.
This is where we create programs to say, get a black female, disabled, whatever the case is. We're rooting for the underdog.
Yes.
There will always be so many opportunities available within the organization to root for the underdog. And I'm glad for the work that I do in international finance, we try to magnify that, to say make more of rooting for the underdog. Besides rooting for the underdog, I found my there's a area where it's about merit. So I think the proper word is mediocrity. Is it mediocrity? Oh God, mediocrity, not mediocrity. It's mediocrity where it's about merit. So merit means this is the people that are getting their degrees cum laude. If you miss that boat, you won't get into the elite organizations. Then in the middle here is where I found myself, where you are all merited. You're passed. You didn't fail. You are in merit. It's multiples of us here. You're not too poor to be an underdog. You're not too good to outshine. Now the issue is, what do we do there? Because that's where most of the people are stuck. And that's where I think it becomes easy for people to be frustrated. And what we're double clicking when Tatetsietsi offline is where the people that they're looking for a high earning executive for 10-20 million rand, cross package, the star performance cannot apply. There is no time to root for anybody else. This is saying important. It's not a government organization, so we're not going to root for somebody from a rural area. These ones that are in the middle, then we're like, who's on top of all of them? And the DTSC would probably get a prescription to say, the money we're going to not only half it, we're going to give you the quarter of the price. Instead of giving you 10 million, we're going to give you 1.5. And that's the reality where a lot of people are sitting in, where you can have a C-suite title and authority and responsibility, but the money is equivalent to that person in a private organization who is just the junior analyst.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a reality. Do you have any comments on that? Okay.
Sad.
Yeah, it's a sad reality, but I get where you're coming from. So just to track a bit, is it important, Mr. Motlapin, to match the candidate now having the knowledge and the experience and the experience of the company corporate culture to match the exec to say, because I know this Zebra company, this is how they do things. Therefore, this candidate cannot fit in there. So you decide in somebody's lifeline because of the culture fit. Is that what you take into consideration when you do your recruitment?
Yeah, you don't totally not present the
Disregard,
disregard the candidate to when you're profiling the candidate to the client, you just put there on your motivation and say, you know what, the candidate comes with a certain skills, experience that you need, but this is the challenge that you might encounter. You know, just to be transparent and open, so that the client know what they are facing, because the other things are tricky.
Yes.
You know, because sometimes candidates can do so well, they can sell themselves, they can walk on waters. You know, and when it's time to deliver, it becomes a problem. They don't deliver, and it comes back to you as a recruiter, you know, and say, the person that you sold.
This is the talent.
This is the talent
you
that
recommended.
that you highly recommended that you sold to me, but this person is not cutting it. You know, we still within probation period, and the person is not cutting it. But then on your profile, when you're profiling the candidate, you've mentioned all those things, so it does not actually, you know, come back to you and you being questioned about the candidate. You know, you've covered yourself, you've delivered in terms of if you take this candidate, this is what you are.
Yes. Okay. So it's up to the client to make a decision on your recommendations. So coming back to Ndadedi Sama's question, do we have an issue of pay parity in South African corporate business? And I mean, take into consideration all the leadership roles and women in particular. Is there an inequality there, or we are cruising nicely?
That's in terms of salaries.
Yes. In terms of catching, yes.
Yes. There's no equality. There won't be any equality anytime soon. You know, reality of the matter, and to just be blunt, you know, I've got a certain client, you know, and you know, whereby there's, you know, the mentality is that with the client, you know, there's no black candidate that will be offered a package of more than 1 million. You know, it's there, but it's subtle. You know, it's subtle. You know, you submit two candidates, two financial managers. You know, it can be Indian and black, colored and black, but you know that who is your A game. You know who is your A game in this matter. You know who is competent, who's going to just be walking the park for that. And your candidates, they won't make the interview, not to say it because they don't meet the minimum requirement or they're not competent. They are, but there's this thing that, you know what, blacks are still bracketed in certain salary packages, unfortunately, and especially within the private sector, and that's the sad reality.
It's very sad indeed. Very, very sad. So would you say, so that is not a skill issue, it's a preference issue?
No, it's not. It's not a skill. It's not a skill issue. You know, it's not a skill issue. Even if you submit a candidate that's above the requirements, you know, so it's not shortage of skills, qualification, or competency, or none of that.
It's corporates being naughty.
It's corporates being naughty.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I also come in there, and I think it's much better with corporates because it's still managed. We can still say who's responsible for this, show us the pay parity.
Yes.
I get knots in my tummy when we talking about self-employment, because more especially in the creative industry where it's mostly contract based.
Yes.
That's where it's got the pay parity. It even goes to a point of not just color. And when you start to cluster to say who's getting the most money, then of course it will go back to connections.
Oh yes.
But that's why I say sometimes I used to worry a lot about, and I used to say there's a corruption in government. But when I started, interacting and working with people that work in government, I started to appreciate some of the transparency that come there. I must say, some of the government organizations you would know beforehand to say everybody else is going to get a 6% salary increase. Where I'm coming from, I'm just going to pause a little bit and make this example. There was a colleague who, because as you work in strategy, most of the time we come to places like this for strategy session.
Yes.
And he went with this group to a strategy session, and strategy went well, and then you come sit under the umbrella and the wine is flowing. And it's around this time the bonuses just came out and they started talking, hey, this year's bonuses were tough. I just bought a Ranger, hey? It should be more. It's like, flip, man.
You just bought a Ranger.
I bought a cruiser with mine.
Yeah.
The guy, the only black guy in there, got 40,000 rands. And that was pre-tax. He took that to heart and he resigned.
Sure.
Unfortunately, when you come into the game, that's one thing that I realized, and I'm making this statement carefully. Hasi kodladleni here. You're not in your mother's place.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Remember why you are here. Do the best with what you have.
Yeah.
We're not going to reverse 30, 40 years. Within 30, 40 years, we're not going to reverse 400 years of advantage.
Yeah.
Pay parity will always be
I
there.
also agree with you and respect people that feel that they don't belong in certain spaces and choose themselves to go pursue something else where they could be respected.
Sure.
So that was very brave of the guy. Yes. Do we, what common skills do we, what are the skills that are in demand in South Africa in 2026? Now with the introduction of AI, well, AI has always been there. It's just that now we're trying to incorporate and use it in our daily work. What are the skills? AI being the top of it.
Yeah. And of course, IT will be just across the board. But in terms of skills in demand, it's going to depend as per industry. This is what I've discovered in the business that I'm in. If it's a property industry, it's going to be property clients. If it's a capital client, capital investment, it's going to be those finance and investment. So it's very difficult to pinpoint and say there's a certain 1, 2, 3 skills that are in demand.
Back in the day, it used to be IT has always been sort of in demand. I don't know if it's still in demand or it's over concentrated, but because it's developing, it's evolving. I think it will also always be in demand. Engineering, has been in demand in the past, and medical doctors, I don't know anymore because now they're sitting at home without jobs, so there's over concentration there.
So I think to your point, that there is pockets of over concentration everywhere.
Yeah. I know in our field, HR, they say don't go, there's over concentration.
Yeah, true.
But because they haven't understood the commercial part of it.
Yes.
And
I think in the day, Minister Blade or Dr. Blade Mzimande, he tried to warn people and he released a comprehensive list of careers in demand. And it comes out, I think, every 2-3 years. It's an intensive research that goes into that. And he's trying to say, the youth, please, before you enroll, read this thing. and the youth still doesn't read it. Because when it comes to IT, when you're looking into career job sites, when you're just doing count, you'll say the number of IT jobs is greater than the number of finance jobs, is greater than the number of engineering jobs. So we can easily make a conclusion to say IT is in demand. But I think the issue, or the comprehensive, is to match it with the supply. And then we're like, where's the mismatch?
Yeah.
Which roles or career has got the biggest mismatch, which means the demand and supply do not match, or is got the highest number of matching? Then we can say that one isn't. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of people that are doing that work, because their reality is there's a lot of supply and very less demand. And the demand that is there, that we can say, hey, there's a demand for certain job. It's what Ntatetsiet is talking about, to say they are offering below market remuneration. That is why it's there. And nobody's filling it up.
Okay. So, Mabosi, in terms of the creative business, is it important to have certain attributes or characteristics that you need to take into consideration when you hire your employees, even in your own company? Do you hire for because this person has got qualification but their attitude sucks? Or what is it important to take into consideration the whole person?
I guess in our industry, often it's project to project, unless you are working for a multi-choice and you are having a long-term project to work with them. And so going from project to project, sometimes it does become what's most important is the skill. Can you do this thing? We use sometimes we use cameras, we use different kinds of cameras, mirrorless camera, this kind of camera, and if the person can't use the equipment, it doesn't really matter, my darling, if you have a good character. I'm just working with you for a week or a month, and I just need you to get the job done. And on longer projects, it is worth something just to be a good person, come on time, have good attributes, want to learn, have a good attitude, because then I will call you back for another project. And so if you have a bad attitude and you have the skill, you might get the job today, but next month I might be looking for someone else, because nobody wants to go home stressed out because the project's done, but you had a bad attitude, you were late, and were losing the client anyway. And so I guess the skill becomes really important. As I think the thing is also, a lot of people are coming into camera work, photography. People are really trying to explore those areas, because even in what is mostly wanted now, which is social media managing and branding and whatever, they are looking for people who can do more than just that. They want someone who can also do photography and a little bit of editing. So they're looking for someone with more than one skill. And so I would say what's important is you have to have leverage. Look for leverage as an individual. If you can do camera and you can do videography, add on a good attitude, add on being on time, add on wanting to learn. Don't talk back to people, because then you'll get called back. So it does become important in the long run.
Okay. So I hear a lot of people in corporate environment, I think just wrapping up, I hear a lot of people in corporate environment, they say, I'd rather hire an attitude because I'll train a skill, and not have a skill and have to deal with the attitude. What's your take on that, gentlemen?
I think I'm for that. I'm for that, because with the wrong attitude, then obviously business-wise it affects productivity. And productivity it's the output of the business. So attitude, it's something that really is difficult to deal with, because in a working environment it now escalates from attitude, then it goes to mental issues, which is a huge outcry. Mental health, which is a huge outcry, within the working society, and attitude, it's also a component that adds to that.
Okay. So, should employers improve their hiring process? And I think this is the last round. Should employer improve their hiring processes? Because a lot of the employees, they complain about not getting feedback from just access point of view. I have applied, I'm not getting feedback, or I went for an interview at ABC company and I never got feedback.
If I take that one, and I'm going to link it back to the previous one about attitude or aptitude, you get, I think people are just looking for jobs, and most organizations try to put AI to sift it out. And I remember 2013, I was also, looking for 2 analysts. Fortunately, because I was in a large organization, we were looking for attitude.
Yes.
But the CVs that we got, there are no ways that we could build aptitude from even if they've got good attitude.
Yes.
We just couldn't. And my manager at the time, because I had 2 people that were reporting to me, and I had given them terrible year-end reviews, and she was also coaching me on to how do you go up the corporate ladder to say, you cannot give yourself a 4 out of 5, and then your person is underperforming at 2 out of 5.
Yes.
Let's reward attitude. But I was like, but the work, it's like, no, that's why you are out there looking for work. But it's catch-22. Now, with being an analyst, I realized that some of the people that are applying are actually, they need more mentoring than a job. Because to what Busi is talking about, in the creative industry might be that, but I'm looking also in the IT. Because you get a job and somebody else says, can you help us convert this thing into meaningful information? And we're like, okay, here's the project operational plan, project overview. In 2 months we'll be able to deliver. But then you want somebody who can do that, and you don't have the time to mentor a person.
Yes.
So should hiring process change? I don't know, because even AI is not helping us sift the right people. So I don't think it's a process issue. I think people should just be honest with what they are lacking and what they are good at. Because if right now, if I were to go to anything, LinkedIn, and we put a post, before we even take an hour drive home or 20-minute drive home, you would have 100 apps that went through.
Yeah.
But if you start to sift there, then I'll say to myself, it looks like I have very good candidates for my mentoring program, but not a lot for the role that I'm looking for.
Yeah. So I think we can agree that we need to, companies need to improve their hiring processes, how they do it, what they need to take into consideration. But it's looking at the problems that you're talking about now at hand and say, how are we making it better for the candidate that's applying for jobs? Just in few minutes, briefly, I'll start from my left. Final thoughts on, as an advice today, applicants that are looking for jobs or people looking to be promotable in businesses. What should they take into consideration? What do you want to say to them?
In terms of my day-to-day, interaction with candidates, the layout of your CV can make it or break it for you. In terms of to open that door for you to secure your interview. So your design of your CV, it's very, 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 very critical.
Yes.
It's very, very important. So in my space, the layout of your CV, how your CV is positioned, very critical.
CV, very critical. Yes,
I guess in my industry, having one more than just your skill. Before we were told to specialize. If you're a videographer, be a great videographer, and then you don't even have time to learn photography. But now I think with YouTube, things have become so much easier. You don't need to go to school to learn photography. You can get a cheap camera if you're a videographer, learn photography, learn graphics, have more than one skill.
Yeah.
It always just puts you, in the forefront of the person who can just do one thing.
2, be multi-skilled.
Get a mentor and get a portfolio of evidence.
3, get a mentor, get a portfolio of evidence.
Wow.
Thank you. You are watching Heroes Table. Thank you for watching. to the employers and organization looking for quality candidates or advices in terms of how they can improve their hiring processes, please connect with us on www.reabilipsp.co.za and email us at info@reabilipsp.co.za. We out.
That's so brilliant.